Good day, everyone. We are Group 9. I'm Rian, and with me are Rad, Joan, Nathaniel, Nicholas, and Maria. Today we'll be talking about something that affects each and every one of us, which is the natural resources. To start, think of the Earth as a one giant integrated machine. Energy is fuel, the soil is the foundation, water is its lifeblood, and waste, well, that's what it throws away. Now, imagine if one part of this machine breaks down, what happens to the rest? Exactly, the whole system starts to fail. Many of us assume that small acts like conserving water, recycling, or disposing of water properly don't really matter. But here's the truth. When we put these small actions together, they can have a huge impact on us. Whether your action is big or small, it matters. Each of us has a part to play, and together, we can create a real lasting change that makes the world a better place. To understand these issues better, we spent a lot of time researching, reviewing studies, government reports, and expert articles from the Department of Energy, the Department of Agriculture, the National Water Resources Board, and the DNR. Through this, we've gained a strong understanding of how energy, water, soil, and waste are managed in our communities, the challenges this system faces, and what can be done to use these resources responsibly. In this speech, we'll explore three key resources that the planet provides: energy, water, and soil, and why keeping them clean and healthy is so important. We'll also talk about the responsibilities we all share, especially as pollution continues to rise at alarming rates. However, there has always been a solution that will benefit both this planet and mankind, which is implementing sustainable practices. And as we move forward, my group mates Joan and Rad will take over. Rad will guide us through the types of energy resources and how they are harnessed. After that, Joan will explain the environmental challenges they bring and share practical ways we can conserve energy in our daily lives, at home, in our communities, and beyond.
We need energy for all the work we do every day, just like doing household chores, staying fit, working, and other activities. We get energy from our food intake, just like energy resources. What are energy resources? It is any material that is used to convert energy into electricity to perform work. We get energy through different kinds of sources. These sources are categorized into two types: renewable and non-renewable sources. There are many renewable sources that people use for daily lives, such as solar panels, geothermal power plants, windmills, and hydropower plants like dams. Unlike the non-renewable, it's limitless since they are naturally replenished faster than human consumption. Moving on to non-renewable, it contains many kinds of sources that people also use to convert energy to electricity. The examples are nuclear energy, uses nuclear fission to produce electricity, and minerals are obtained under the Earth's surface like coals, fossil fuels, and petroleum. They are also important to people because they enable machines and turbines to process work. In addition to their usage, they can also be harnessed in different ways. Renewable sources naturally obtained from the sun's radiant energy, wind's kinetic energy, bodies of water's movement or heat, and underneath the Earth's surface to get geothermal energy, while non-renewable sources are obtained from the buried combustible deposits of organic materials and nuclear reactions.
Thank you, Red. As I may say that energy is essential in our daily lives, but its production and use can harm the environment. Burning fossil fuels causes air pollution and contributes and adds to climate change. Water pollution also occurs from oil spills, coal mining, and acid mine drainage, while thermal pollution affects aquatic life. Coal mining generates solid waste that damages land and ecosystems. Clearly, energy production impacts both the environment and public health. So, how can we conserve energy responsibly? We can use renewable sources like solar, wind, hydropower, biomass, and geothermal energy. reduce mining and fossil fuel used to lower greenhouse gas emissions, improve energy efficiency by using LED lights and energy used appliances. We can also promote sustainable transportation like walking, riding a bike, and use of public transport, or switch to electric vehicles. Supporting modern energy systems like advanced grids and storage helps communities better use renewable energy. And finally, raise awareness and encourage everyone to be responsible for their energy use. By following these steps, we can protect ecosystems, reduce environmental damage, and build a sustainable energy future for ourselves and the generations to come. Now, on to the next topic of water resources. Let us hear it from Rian.
Continuing from what we just heard about conserving energy, I want us to think about another resource that we simply can't live without, which is water. While energy fuels our modern world, water sustains every living thing around us. Our country is blessed with numerous water resources, including rivers, lakes, groundwater, springs, and even rainfall. Imagine the Cagayan and Agusan rivers, Lake Lanao, or Laguna de Bay. These are more than just names. They are lifelines for communities, ecosystems, and livelihoods. But here's the question. If water is everywhere, why do so many people still lack access to safe drinking water? The reason is very clear. Water is unevenly distributed, affected by seasonal droughts, and polluted in many areas, especially in rural communities. People struggle to get what many of us take for granted, which is a clean glass of water. So, what's behind this? The answer lies in both nature and human activity. Let's start with nature. When it rains or snow melts, water doesn't just fall. It carries minerals and organic matter. Streams within sand, silt, and debris, and evaporation from lakes and rivers concentrates the minerals left behind. In other words, water is never still. It flows, it mixes, and it transforms constantly. But human activity complicates the situation even more. Urban development, industrial operations, mining, and the burning of fossil fuel all introduce pollutants into our waterways. Farming practices, especially the use of fertilizers rich in nitrogen and phosphorus, often result in runoff that reaches rivers and lakes. This excess of nutrients promotes algae growth, which reduces oxygen in the water and can even kill fish. Over time, these actions disrupt the delicate balance of our water systems, making clean water harder and harder to access. So, what can we do about it? How do we take responsibility for protecting and conserving water before it's too late? That's where my group mate Nathaniel comes in. He'll guide us through some practical, everyday actions we can take to make a real difference. Simple steps that can help preserve for ourselves, our communities, and future generations.
So, as we continue, let me ask you this question. What actions should we take in conserving and protecting water? I mean, there are many simple actions we could take to preserve it. First, we must make careful choices in how we use and handle water. Never pour hazardous waste down the drain, on the ground, and into the storm sewers. Those bad habits are harmful to the water resources, and I'm sure enough that most of us are guilty of those mistakes. Our household cleaners and personal toiletries might also contain harsh chemicals and contaminants. Therefore, we should be mindful of choosing the right products. Perhaps, some of us can do the simple action of reminding the people around us to dispose oils and chemicals properly whenever they do a vehicular oil change. Last but not the least, conserve water in every possible way. There are plentiful ways to conserve water, but here are two ways to practice it. First, since the water we need is not always clean and pure, we can collect rainwater for toilet flushing and gardening. Secondly, we should wash clothes with full loads whenever possible. This helps maximize the use of water and conserve it effectively. Classmates, LFs, we are not just living organisms living our lives without compensating our bill to this resource. We are the caretakers and watchmen that are accountable on whatever this planet will be. Action is always bound together with responsibility, while responsibility must be closely linked to action. Aside from energy and water resources, there are more to be talked about. Let's now proceed and talk about soil resources and how to preserve them. My groupmate, Nikos, will share about those.
We face many environmental challenges today. It is often disregarded, yet it is the foundation upon which our lives are built. It's a complex, living ecosystems that feeds us countlessly. Soil resources are confronted with various challenges such as soil erosion, pollution, and degradation. These problems can have severe consequences on soil health, fertility, and productivity, ultimately affecting ecosystems, food security, and human well-being. We need to take action to protect our soil resources. We can start working together from here. Let's take the first step. Start composting to turn food waste into nutrient-rich soil. Planting flowers, vegetables, or herbs in your community garden to promote soil health and diversity. Avoid using synthetic fertilizers and pesticides in your backyard. We need to share knowledge about soil conservation and sustainable practices with friends, family, and community members. We can inspire individuals to take action. By doing so, we ensure food security, regulation, and a healthy environmental for future generations. Let us commit to protecting the earth and protecting the soil. Now, it's time to hear from my groupmate Maria, who's going to talk about those waste management.
Thank you, Nikos. Now let's talk about one issue that all of us see every single day: waste management. Waste is produced everywhere in our homes, schools, markets, and even our streets. Some waste is biodegradable, like leftover food, while other are non-biodegradable, like plastics and bottles. Unfortunately, a lot of people in our community still throw garbage anywhere into rivers, canals, and open spaces without thinking about the consequences. But what really happens when we fail to manage our waste properly? The answer is clear. It harms both our health and the environment. Garbage piles become breeding grounds for mosquitoes, rats, and cockroaches that spread diseases like dengue and leptospirosis. Biodegradable waste also release a foul odor that can make people sick. And when plastic and other trash end up in rivers and seas, they pollute the water and even kill fish and aquatic animals. Sometimes people burn their garbage, especially plastics, which lead to air pollution that damage our lungs and contributes to climate change. So, how do we solve this? The good news is that there are simple practical solutions. We can start by practicing discipline and small actions like throwing trash into proper bins. We should separate biodegradable like non-biodegradable waste, recycle materials that can still be used, and avoid single-use plastic whenever possible. As a community, we can also organize cleanup drives and encourage others to participate. Most importantly, we must realize that waste management is not just the job of the government. It is everyone's responsibility. If we all work together, we can keep our surroundings clean, safe, and healthy. Proper waste management is not only about protecting our environment today, it is about protecting our future and ensuring that the next generation will inherit the planet they can live and enjoy. That's why waste management matters, and that is why it starts with us.
To sum it up, energy, soil, water sources, and waste management are linked to each other to keep our planet healthy and in a good condition. We have four responsibilities to look after: energy sources, water sources, soil sources, and waste management. By using these natural resources, we can maintain a healthy and sustainable planet for the future generations. Think back to our opening analogy of the Earth as a machine, where every source plays a vital role. When even one part is damaged, the whole system starts to fail. This reminds us that every responsible choice we make, no matter how small, contributes to the overall health and balance of our environment. Small actions can create big changes. Guarding nature is not something we have to do. It is something we should do. The future of Earth is in her hands, and it depends on what we do now. By behaving responsibly, we can ensure that the Earth remains healthy for us. It is a legacy that we will leave behind. Not only for us, but also for every living thing that depends on the Earth. So let us all remember, keep it clean, keep it green, and together we can build a brighter tomorrow